I mean, what struck me about like why does this happen? So much of our brain is geared towards survival, like you said, is geared towards keeping us safe. And the child, being a child, if not given the route by adults in his life, learns maladaptive ways to keep him safe. But if it works, he'll go back to that same response again and again and again and again. And that's what porn does, is it really in a very effective way alleviates short-term pain, right? And discomfort. It is effective in terms of the way that it hijacks the biology and the neurology that God designed for our own safety and steals it to create this loop of that addictive behavior. And so the child learns that this is a safe place to go with that emotional turmoil, that pain that nobody else understands, the feeling lonely, the feeling lost, the feeling stressed, the feeling abandoned, the feeling bored, etc. Right? And that's what I love about the inner child work is the archetypes, because it gives me language and visualization to be able to see. And I'll talk a little bit about that today as we explore the specific stories that you and I have just lived through recently. But I'm the stress child through and through. And being able to describe myself and see my inner child as the stress child. Okay, how is the stress child showing up right now? What's he running to? What's he going to? How's he responding to others' behavior? And then that's the second thing that I absolutely love that you just said at the end of your remarks is that the response, his response will always be with us the rest of our life, right? We don't get to control the fact that we get so boiled up at those specific interactions, but we do get to choose to differentiate our adult self and our inner child so that we're not enmeshed in the emotion and unable to then control what we do next, right? And so we create space like, oh, I see him and I can do something now to lead him, right? Rather than, well, I'm just freaking angry, so I have to outlet the anger, right? And the only thing I can do is go punch a punching bag instead of a person, right? That's not the solution, which oftentimes I think men get to of like, well, I'm just angry, so I have to find some way to outlet my anger. And the best I can do is to redirect my anger towards people I don't care about versus people I do, or into a athletic pursuit versus people I love or the work that I do, et cetera, rather than what's underneath it, what's the consistent emotional themes that come up, and then what's the most effective way to respond to this, right? What works, and when it works, usually just like porn, you can do it again and again and again and again, and it's effective every time, right? And I think that's another part of the reason why I've experienced men, myself included, getting so frustrated by doing story work is it feels so muddy, so gray. Like, well, okay, how big of a role does that one specific event play and all the rest of this stuff, or that one emotion? And so this, for me, has made it simple in a way that for so many years it was complex. Like, oh, a new memory is coming up, so I gotta go pray through that and talk through it all. And yes, to some degree, like as new memories come up, that's the body and the brain releasing that stuff so that you can integrate it. But learning the simple approach at the same time of day-to-day life, right? I got to figure out how to live today and not act out, but also still be respectful of the people around me. And how do I learn how to live in love and better understand the way that I'm loved rather than these maladaptive responses and coping mechanisms that we've all developed back to our young childhoods.